2018 American Express champion, Jon Rahm. Jon, thanks for joining us for a few minutes. Already off to a great start this calendar year with the win in Hawaii. Just a few comments on how much that kind of sets the pace for 2023.
I don't know how to say it. It's obviously very rewarding to win, but to get it done this early of the year, it's nice. The only thing I could keep thinking of is I've mentioned how much I love that week, so I could already tell Kelly and the people that help us with traveling, well, book the hotels for next year because we're for sure coming back. And it's always nice to get a good bunch of FedEx Cup points early in the year, right? I choose not to play much on the fall. Only played once, so that's where you can, rack up some points and maybe make the stretch of the year easier. But to start 2023 with a win, let's just say it maximizes my opportunities to get as many wins as possible, right? So it's a great start. Like I've said a few times too, I've seen a few players win that event and then go on a tear for a year, right? Cam Smith being the last one last year. So I'm hoping one of those that can, start properly and get a couple wins and hopefully a major in there.
And I mentioned the win here. You've actually had top 15 finishes, I think, in your last 3 starts here. So obviously a place that I would imagine you're glad to be back to. Just some thoughts on being back here this week.
Yeah. It's kind of thinking that last year's comments might come back me in the ass. Although it was more venting off on the golf course. I think for me, it's obviously a great event, and it's got a lot of history with Arnie's legacy here as well. I've loved it every time I've come here, despite what I said on the golf course last year. That's just a player letting out some frustration. It's also a great way to get back into golf after Maui, meaning you played in a golf course with a lot of uneven lies, a lot of crosswinds. It's very unusual golf to be playing in, right? It's very easy to compensate to basically make the best of the shot with the wind. You play on very slow, grainy greens. It can take some time to adjust to maybe, let's say, PGA Tour golf on a regular basis in the mainlands, right? So I think this is a perfect week to kind of get some competition rounds in more normal circumstances. Usually the weather's beautiful here. You might get more or less wind in some days, but the golf course usually is in absolute perfect condition. So you can basically make sure all your new equipment is proper, make sure if you've been working on some changes in your swing, you're testing it under pressure with some easier conditions. So I think it's a great tune-up for what the rest of the year could be, and especially this year when you have so many big events coming up early on the year, right? Mm-hmm. I've always thought it's a great way to reaffirm what I've done till now, and especially going to a week like Torrey. I mean, it'll be hard to go from playing the Plantation course to then going to Torrey Pines. I mean, they're complete opposite golf courses. So I'm glad you have an event like this one to basically settle in, hopefully get another win, right, like I did a few years ago, and get the year started properly. It's again, besides being a great event with a lot of history, it's a great way to test yourself and reaffirm what you've been doing.
Okay, well, with that, we'll open and take a few questions. If you would just stick your hand up, we'll start with Larry, and if you guys have questions, okay. And then Larry, if you'll just pass it behind you when you're done.
Sure. We've made a lot about the fact of the strength of field here this year. I think the PGA Tour is saying it's the strongest field they've had here this century. Some of that is obviously guys like you have played here fairly consistently, but when you see something like that, or you see 5 of the top 7 in the world at a place, does that grab your attention?
Of course. You want to beat the best, and I'm glad people are coming. It's good that more players are trying more events. I think it's due to some of the new events going on during the year, right? The fact that we have all those big events that we have to play if we want to earn the PIP reward. And that opens up to all those 3, let's say, lower events that you need to play. It opens people's eyes to maybe some events they haven't played in the past because your schedule changes a little bit, right? I know I'm one of those. It actually kind of tied me up later on the year, so this event really served a lot of purpose in more than one way. So I don't think I'm the only one thinking that. I know Patrick has been coming here. He almost won here a few years ago as well. So there's a lot of big names that always come, but it's good to see more players. Like I said, courses are always in perfect shape, perfect condition, so it's a great way to come and tune up everything you need.
And in terms of those courses, you've been on, I think, the same rotation for a long time, which starts at La Quinta, then goes to Nicklaus, and then Stadium. When you think of those three courses, is that a good rotation for you to start with?
I wouldn't know what to tell you. I don't know anything
You wouldn't know
else.
you've known anything else, right?
Yeah, the one thing I know is, I mean, if the years you're somewhere between 20 and 25 under, and I'm pretty sure 70% of that is done in two of the courses, right? You got to. I think the year I won, I shot 16 under between La Quinta and Nicklaus, and
I know you shot 62 the first round over
yeah,
there.
and ended up at 20 or 21 under, right? So the Stadium course, if the wind picks up, can show some teeth. That can happen. So you need to shoot low on those other two courses, no matter how it goes. But we've seen some people in the past. I mean, if you stand Stadium and have a good day and shoot 5, 6 under, you definitely have a bit of an advantage towards the rest going into some of the lower scoring golf courses, right? I think it was Adam Hadwin whose Saturday round was at La Quinta and shot 59 to shoot up the leaderboard, right? That can happen, but again, I don't know anything else, so I can't really put my opinion on that.
Hey, John. When you kind of transitioned from playing on the tour to winning on the tour, was there a kind of a single factor that got you over the top and kind of kept you there?
No.
Just
Nothing. I mean, I play to win every single time, so no, I wouldn't know what to say to that. This is the fact of getting it done. Getting that first win is obviously a huge bonus, right? If you can do it early, I think I did it on my 16th, 17th start as a pro on the PGA Tour. It's early in someone's career, so that gives you a lot of confidence, but it's basically doing what you already believed you could do, at least in my case, so there's more confidence moving forward. But I didn't do anything different. From the first time I teed it up and the future, first day on Thursday, my intention is to win, and that's never going to change.
But there wasn't any incremental change. The short game got better. The driver got more accurate. Anything that really dialed in when you made that transition?
Transition from like to pro or?
No, playing to winning on tour.
No, that's a mental state more than anything else. I've improved as a player in some aspects, but nothing that I've changed to have to win. I don't think. No, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't.
Well, it worked, whatever it was. Being from San Diego, you talked about Torrey Pines. Mm-hmm. You've always been so confident and comfortable there. After winning the Open, does that make it even more so, or does that change anything about playing at Torrey?
That week it played so different to how it usually plays that I can't really draw that much from that. And aside from the fact that I know I can get it done there before I can get it done, right? I mean, I've been able to win 2 tournaments there, and every time I've teed it up at Torrey, I've had a solid chance of winning the tournament. So yeah, you draw from that. Obviously, a lot of great players have had a golf course where they've been able to win a lot of times, right? Tiger did it in multiple places. Arnie did it here. It's something that when you're comfortable on a golf course, it's easier to play to an extent. So I don't know. I know it suits my strengths. I know it suits my game really, really well. So I know that if I play well, I'm going to have a perfect chance of winning. And it's I wouldn't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a special feeling, obviously. But after the winning the Open, obviously, it gives me more confidence.
And last thing, last year in the tournament, went to a playoff, a couple guys who hadn't won on tour. Mm-hmm. You were right in the mix. I know it came down. It was getting dark. It was dark when they finished the playoff. What do you remember about the ending of that tournament last year?
Well, I remember not making birdie on 18 when I needed to. Remember making a few mistakes during the day that could have allowed me to have a better chance. But, I mean, it was great to see Luke List. Luke List is one, I think, my first PGA Tour member round was with Luke List at the then Safeway Open. And it's, both of the players in the playoff are guys with immense talent. And, it was good to see one of them get their first win. Plus, that unique situation with their tee shots ending up in the same spot and having to do a weird drop and the whole situation, and then Luke hitting it to a foot and one of, what could be considered an easy shot, but, it's gotten the best of some people in the past. I've definitely seen a few spin it back in the water, so it was great to see him get it done. And as well, great for Will to then go on and, draw from the experience from a playoff and get it done in Memphis, right? So it's, I don't know, for some reason, that event always gives you a thrilling ending, and I've had the luck of being part of a few of them in both sides, because the year Mark Leishman won, I had a chance to tie him again for a playoff and then make the putt. So I've been on both sides of those endings, but yeah, for some reason, Torrey always brings the excitement, and that speaks to the greatness of the golf course in the tournament.
Ron?
This is sort of random, but the promotion's already begun for the Netflix series that's coming. Did you have any part in that, and how interested are you to watch it?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to be in the documentary. I doubt it. The only thing I said, that could be used that I was okay with because I wasn't a part of it, is when they were taping Tony Finau's foundation event in Utah, which I was a part of. Obviously, I want to support Tony as much as I can. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm not going to be having them cut out something that's important on the night, right? I'll be interested in watching it, yeah. I think my whole mindset was I wasn't really interested on it the first year, and I would like to see what kind of product they're putting out there before I think about it. It's as simple as that.
Thanks.
Over here.
Hey, John. So Callaway's drivers won the first two events of the tour season. You obviously won with it at Century. I'm curious to know, what have you seen from the new product that, in your opinion, makes it better than the previous?
So what I've been saying, because performance-wise, it feels, on par with the first few drivers, right? Like I've loved every single driver I've had on Callaway. It's the strongest part of my game. So if anything can make it better, I'm gonna try to make it better. And I've loved every single one. But this driver, this Paradigm driver, being a different look to what Callaway's done in the past, I can't shake the fact. Well, not shake. I can't help myself but to talk about how good it feels at impact. I don't get caught up on the sound or other things, assuming the performance is good. The impact through the ball, even when I mishit it, is such a good feeling, and I don't know why. I wouldn't know how to explain it, but that is something that it's a positive added to the driver, on top of obviously all the great things. I can't really get into the engineering and technology that goes into it, but I can imagine it's very, very hard to have a product that really works, especially for somebody like me with how good I've driven it the last 2 years, and have to come up with something that is improving in any kind of way, right? It just almost feels like, with the impact being so good, the only logical conclusion to me is that the sweet spot is getting bigger and bigger, and therefore your average distance is going to be higher and you're going to be a little bit straighter. That's all I can say. But besides being aesthetically really beautiful driver, I don't know what it is with the impact. I don't know what the hell they've done, but it feels amazing.
Anybody else? Larry?
Just one last one. You've always said you like playing in the Southwest, Phoenix, here, San Diego. That's a front-loaded schedule for you at the start of 2023. Has it been an issue in putting together a schedule this year because of the designated tournaments, or has it just been minor tweaks?
It hasn't been an issue, no. I mean, the kind of, how do I say it? In the past, we've had a lot of freedom on what we wanted to play, and we still do. I mean, the only reason for us to want to play all of this is the PIP reward, let's be honest, right? And the fact that they're bigger events and bigger purses, we all want that. So when it's similar to the Rolex Series events in Europe, they're basically giving you all these big events. It's a lot easier to work around it. I mean, I chose to play only once in the fall, so I know I need to play 19 events this year. I'm playing all these elevator ones. I had to add 2 more, right? So it was very simple way to decide, and I think I'm gonna get it done by playing here and Torrey Pines, which, to think of Torrey Pines as a lesser event to me is mind-blowing, but it's in a weird way made it easier because the decision was done for us. Is it everything I would have done in the past? No, but I welcome the change. Change can be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to playing some of the events. One of my favorite courses in tournaments has always been Travelers. I just haven't been able to go because it's always after the Open, and that time of year I would be going to Europe and playing Irish Open and Scottish Open and so forth, or Spanish Open. Sometimes it was in that date. So this time I will be going to play. So we'll see how it goes. The RBC Heritage, I think my wife Kelly loved that event more than I did. She had such a good time in Hilton Head Island, and I didn't play bad, but I think I have some unfinished business on that golf course. Again, unbelievable quality golf course with a lot of history, right? So I'm getting to play two amazingly good events that maybe in the past I wouldn't have, thanks to this situation. So again, I welcome the change, and in a simple way, giving up some of that freedom was nice because there's less of a headache thinking on what to do and what not to do, right? It was very, very easy to figure out what to play. Thank you.
All right, John, thank you for your time. Hope to see you right back here Sunday afternoon.
Let's hope so.